Hello and welcome back. You might know me as the serial hobbyist because that's what I am. So for the longest time, I have wanted to learn how to crochet. I don't really know why. There's that part of my brain that's just like, I could do that. The issue with that part of my brain that says I can do that is that it's also a very impatient part of my brain, meaning I will then try to do the thing and then not be good at it. And the minute that I'm not good at a thing, that same part of my brain is just like, well, you're never gonna be good at it, just give up. And then I never touched again. Which is maybe a little bit why I'm trying to do this on the YouTube, so that maybe something will stick. I'll come back to something eventually. But it also gives me an outlet with which to talk about all of the things that I try. Thank you, Cinnamon. I really appreciate this. And so today, we are trying crochet. As you may have guessed, I have tried crochet before a few times. The first time I couldn't even figure out how to start. Like, I got my hooks and I got my yarn, and then I found a tutorial online that just said make a magic circle, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. And then I gave up because I had a 10-page paper due. I have noticed a pattern with myself where usually I'll pick up a new hobby if I'm trying to put something else off. I don't think that's the case today, but I don't know. Maybe there is something I'm putting off. Who knows? I tried to buy a crochet kit to make a bee once. All of the pieces in that kit were super cheap, and I found myself poking through the yarn more than I did through my stitches. Also, that kit didn't actually teach me how to crochet, so it would talk about doing a single crochet or a double crochet, and I had no idea what any of those things meant. And then even more recently, and by more recently I mean like maybe 2 months ago, I tried to teach myself crochet again, and I got through making the magic circle. There's a whole bunch of counting and a whole bunch of increase and decrease, and I just had no idea what I was doing once again. I think for crochet, I need just a basic step-by-step walk me through every step, rather than just trying to dive in and figure it out myself, because I never will. And so I've been seeing the woobles online for a couple years now, and I always thought about it, but I was also like, am I ever actually gonna do it? Because, you know, I'm taking the time to do more hobbies and to learn new things, so I feel like it's time. Also, I had an ad show up on my newsfeed with like a huge coupon, so I'm like, yes, now is the time, this is my sign. Supposedly, with each project, they have basically this step-by-step tutorial that shows you everything from how to hold the crochet hook and the yarn, to how to do the different stitches that are required for a particular piece. It comes with yarn, it comes with a hook, and supposedly their yarn is really easy to work with. So, all of those reasons combined, I got this. Hashtag not sponsored, hashtag would take money if you wanted to send it to me anyway, woobles. So I've got Fred the dinosaur, but I do want to just do a little unboxing just to kind of see what all is in here, what I'm working with. I know that it has a list on the back, but I do better by visually seeing the things. So I'm just gonna bust this guy open. All right, Fred, what are you made of? So we've got the yellow yarn. It's actually a lot softer than I thought it would be. I was really worried seeing just the photos of it that this would be closer to like a paracord texture, so I'm glad that that's nice and soft. We've got the green for the body. We've got the stuffing. We've got the hook, which actually feels decent quality, somewhat ergonomic with the handle. The last time I bought a crochet kit, the one that I failed at, the crochet hook, was just a plastic throwaway piece of junk. This actually feels like a hook that I could reuse well past this project, so that's nice. And then we have the wee woobly bits, which has this little sticker, which is adorable. So this little card just has the information to find the step-by-step guide. So there's a QR code so I can access it on my phone, or there's a link with a password. I've got black thread, which I think is in case I don't want to use the plastic eyes. Like if I were to give this to a kid or something and I didn't want them to like rip the eye out and swallow it, I could do this instead and be safer. I also have the plastic eyelets with the backs. They sent 3, which I think is nice in case I guess, in case I mess something up, and then a yarn needle. So the other nice thing about the Wooble kit is they do actually start it for you. So you have a magic circle to start with, and it's already kind of just held in place. So you don't have to go through the process of figuring out how to do a magic circle to get started. I'm gonna pack up the pieces I don't need right now just so that they are out of my way. For Fred, it says it'll take about 3 to 8 hours to get from start to finish. So we'll see how long it takes for me to actually do this, if I do multiple projects in this video or not. But just to get started, we're going with Fred. I'm gonna move to a more comfortable location to get started. So I'll meet you over there. So already looking at the website, I am super excited. So before I even get into making the body and the tail and the arms and the spikes and the belly and all of that, it has a whole bunch of videos that just go straight over the basics of getting started with crochet, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go through some of those videos, figure out what I'm doing. I think the basics will take me through the first couple rounds as well. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so I've just made it through the basic tutorial. I have basically rounds 1, which is what came in, and round 2. I feel like I'm understanding this a lot more than when I first started, both in terms of like the correct way to hold the yarn, because I had no idea. Already I'm feeling like I understand this whole thing a lot more than I did when I was just trying to teach myself. So that's incredible. This whole process so far has taken about 45 minutes, so it's definitely not going quickly, but it's also been a lot less frustrating than me trying to teach myself and then starting something and having to unravel it and trying again and realizing it's all wrong and trying again. I think I'm still going to struggle a little bit with understanding exactly where I'm supposed to go, because I still kind of look at this yarn and I'm just like, I don't know what you mean by a V. Like, I think I got it, but do I really got it? Each of the videos are just really short kind of snippets, so it's really easy bite-sized chunks. And it also means that if I lose track of what's going on, I'm not having to go back like 20 minutes through video and try to figure out what point was she talking about, how to do a single stitch. So I'll say that's really nice. This has turned into a review video. We started off being unboxing and turned into a review. Anyways, I'm gonna get through. Based on these videos, I'll be adding the eyes at around round 19. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit and check back in with you when it's time to put the eyes in. Let's do some yarn stuff. So I know I said I would check in around round whatever when I put the eyes in, but I actually wanted to check in a little bit earlier just because I'm really excited at the kind of progress that's happening here. So right now we have kind of this lopsided circle. I assume that this is eventually going to be, you know, the snout of my dinosaur. I am like really excited with how this is turning out. So as I'm progressing through this course, there's less and less like specific instructions, because especially at this point I'm understanding like what is a single crochet, what is an increase, and so far those have been the only moves that we've really done. I'm understanding where to put my little tracker and why it goes where it goes, which is extremely helpful. For the next 2 rounds I'm doing 36 single crochets all the way around for both rounds. So I'm gonna be able to pretty much just zone out and watch some YouTube videos, which is not something I ever get to do while recording a video, so that's cool. I'm definitely not fully proficient with it yet, but I do just want to show in real time. So I'm doing the first crochet of a new round. So I'm going in, I'm hooking, I'm always hooking, and I still get a little bit hung up in some of my stitches, which I think is just my own kind of clumsiness. But then I hook that on there, and then I find my next hole, and I'm able to just do this, and I'm not having to like sit here and think about it, which is so different. And it's going honestly so much smoother than any attempt I've ever had. And I really feel like I'm trying to sell you on this, and I'm not. And it's definitely something, if you already know crochet, this is gonna be probably really basic to you, because even just watching, I just missed a stitch, hang on. Even just watching the videos, it did get really repetitive, which for some people I think is probably really good. And some of that repetition was really helpful for me, so I didn't have to like go back and be like, okay, but wait, I forgot what all do I do in a single crochet stitch. I will say that the one thing that I do get really bad about is not keeping track of my stitches. So literally right now I have no idea how many stitches I've done, and I'm probably not gonna count. Which is probably not the right thing to do. I should probably be counting and like keeping track. I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, that's my update. I just wanted to update you on that fact that things are going a lot smoother. I'm sure that there's stuff that I'm doing that somebody that does crochet like all the time for their life probably would cringe at me. But you know what? I'm excited. I'm learning this thing that has evaded me for many years. And so I'm going to keep working on this. I'm gonna kind of tune out and watch some videos, and we'll come back when things start to get a little bit more wild. Okay, round 12 update, because I have basically a Yoshi head. We're going really well. We have a recognizable head now. What comes next is gonna be basically the little belly poof. Once that's done, I think we'll be doing the stuffing, but I'm not entirely sure. The video at this point has pretty much left me. I just had the instructions that I ended up just printing out so that I could, you know, use my computer for other things. We're gonna be jumping into round 12, which will be basically expanding this back out a little bit, and then yeah, I'm really excited about the little Yoshi head. This is obviously not Yoshi, this is Fred the dinosaur, but it looks like Yoshi. And like, it looks, I think, pretty clean. I don't know anything about what to look for as far as crochet stitches are concerned. I think the only thing I'm noticing that looks a little weird, I think these were my decrease stitches though, in that row there. In like this row here, they look a little gooply, but again, I think those might be my decrease. They don't stand out terribly, so I'm not concerned about it. I'm not going back. But I'm excited for just how clean this is coming out and how like this looks like a thing already. So I'm gonna keep going. So this time I mean it for realsies. I will check back in when I get to round 19, which is the last round before I think we start doing like the stuffing in the eyes and all of that stuff. So we'll check back in then. Okay, it is now several hours later, but we have the body finished. So the head, I think I may have done those stitches a little weird because this doesn't quite look like the example, and it's sort of a weird little flat top, but I have the body. It's super cute. We still have a lot of work to do. So the next step is going to be the tail, and then the arms, and then the spikes, and then the little bands on the belly. This is farther than I've ever gotten any kind of crocheting project, and the fact that it looks mostly like the example is amazing. So I'm going to jump on the tail, which I think involves learning the magic circle. So we're going to jump on that, and then I'll check back in as I can. Look at the little guy. Still on the fence about if I want to put another spike on the top, because from the front he looks a little plain, but from the side, I don't know, I feel like it might look a little goofy. It might look like a weird little hat. It would also help to kind of hide the wonkiness of his head. Like, none of the models have the spiky on top. To be determined. But for the meantime, I am really happy that this is done. I did it. So this guy is done, which is amazing. So I guess the only thing left to do is the final reveal, and then we can kind of talk about the process. So yeah, let's go. Psych, you thought that was the end of the video? No, we are making another project. So most of the yarn that I have is this Red Heart Super Saver yarn. This is what I've gotten anytime I've tried to teach myself crochet or knitting. I don't think I have the knitting needles anymore, but I do have the crochet hooks. So I am attempting another crochet project. I am not working off of a pattern because I like to play things in hard mode and figure things out for myself. And the first thing that I learned is that you can't just do increases on every single round, every single stitch, because that just makes everything get really wrinkly. And as it is, this is starting to get kind of wavy, which is not what I want. So I've been slowly figuring out how to not have that happen. This has been probably about 2 to 3 hours worth of crocheting so far. So we are not moving quickly, but we are learning. I was working on this actually last night, and then I just sort of left it on the table, and when I woke up this morning, my yarn was broken. So I had to do a little bit of a repair job, which you can kind of see right in here. It looks a little bulky, but it's holding together well enough. So, you know, we're aiming for good enough. I'll say the only thing I don't love about this yarn is it's not soft. So even though this is going to be a stuffed creature, it's not going to be the softest, most cuddliest. I will say the hardest part really is just getting started. That magic circle is tricky, and trying to figure out where my stitches are from the beginning is tough. As it gets further out, I can see things a little bit clearer. It's really right there at the beginning that I'm like, I don't know what is where. So I still need to practice some more just starting projects. But we're this far along. If it looks like a hot mess at the end, that's honestly fine with me, because I am making this up as I'm going along, and I really don't know enough about crochet to be doing what I'm doing. So it's fine. But basically what I'm going to be trying to do is create kind of a dome with a flat bottom, and then make some more of these, sew these into the bottom, and then at some point along the way I'll need to stuff this part, but we'll get to it when we do. So I'm gonna keep going on this for a while. I don't know how exciting it is to watch somebody crochet, especially somebody as bad at camera work as I am, because I have a tendency to put the camera right where like my arm is, so you're just watching my arm the whole time. So at this point, I think the process is gonna be pretty similar to how I did Fred, just a different shape and not following instructions. Making them up for myself. This could be like a beret. I could just make a beret out of this. We're gonna go to the final reveal for both pieces, and then we'll come back and talk about all of it together. Okay, I'll see you there. What's up, my dude? Cinnamon, look at me. Cinnamon! Let's talk final thoughts. The lighting here is terrible, but it's fine. I feel like these final thoughts are going to be a little bit different than normal because this project isn't really normal. For one, this project took place over many weeks, which is not unusual. Several of the videos that I posted that have been like craft projects have taken place over the course of several weeks because there's a lot of waiting time in between steps. But obviously I have more than just one product at the end to present. I'll also say that like the video itself hasn't like been taking place over this extended period of time. It's more just I've had other videos lined up, and so I never got around to finishing this one until now. And so with that, It's interesting because I have done a lot more work in this kind of new hobby that I developed in this video. And like, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still like reading crochet patterns and being like, I don't understand what this means, but we're gonna try it. It's a hobby that I'm enjoying mostly because I'm able to kind of use my hands and see somewhat immediate results, even if it takes a long time to get to the final product. Just by example, the jellyfish took me probably 8 to 12 hours to do. It's quite large given the type of yarn that I did. Plus, I was more or less making up a pattern as I went. Don't ask me for the pattern because I don't really know, other than I just kept on increasing the size of my circle until I was like, well, this seems big enough, and then brought it back down to 0. Which, like in the case of the jellyfish, I'm sure I could have found a pattern and gone with it, but I wanted to kind of figure it out for myself, and I did. So, you know, that's cool. But I've also started looking into other patterns and started making other things that I didn't show in this video. I have several projects that are going to be quite time intensive. I have like a shawl that I started working on that I've already sunk probably a good 10 to 12 hours into, that is not even like a 1/6 of the way done. And I can't quite say, like, I know some people that do knitting and crochet are like, they can just sort of turn their brains off and like watch TV or something while they're doing it. And I definitely get that. Like, I'll sit down and watch TV or watch YouTube videos or something while I'm doing it, which is really nice to have a hobby where I can just sort of sit and do that. I really like the repetition of it. I don't like how much my hands cramp. Mostly my left hand, surprisingly, the hand that I'm using to hold the yarn. So with that, it's hard for me to reflect really on this project because at this point there is so much distance from it, and I have done a lot more since then. So I think ultimately what this is gonna kind of come down to is a question to you, the viewer, of would you like to see more crochet content? I'm probably going to continue to crochet regardless because I have all of a sudden acquired much yarn. That was a sentence. And I love that I say that, like I acquired yarn as though I didn't go to the store and spend money on it. It's fine. I'm still learning about yarn types, I'm still learning about different stitch types and how they work and how they're indicated on patterns. And apparently the United States has a completely different like pattern key to any other country, which, you know, of course it does. Fortunately, everything that I kind of have on my list of want to makes is in US terms, so I don't have to learn anything new with that yet. For me, crochet has been something that I wanted to do for honestly many years. I bought crochet hooks and yarn several years ago. I don't even know what I was trying to make, but I was like, I want to learn how to do this, and then tried to teach myself, and it just was not going well. I tried looking at YouTube tutorials and none of them really showed me what I needed to do in a way that made sense to my brain. And I think what I really needed was just that initial dummy down, like first step of this is how you hold things, and these are the knots that you work with. And once I got that, I was able to just kind of go. And since then I have taught myself through YouTube videos and through just sort of information on patterns how to do everything else that I've needed so far. My brain is very happy by like the repetition of it, and it's something that I can just sort of hyper fixate on. It's sort of like how in bookbinding I can just sort of hyper fixate on like when I'm folding the papers or when I'm like actually sewing them together. Only with crochet it's the same step over and over and over. Like there might be some subtle variations, but it's the same step. Whereas in bookbinding I'm obviously doing this series of the same step over and over, and then the next one over and over, and then the next one. I don't know, sometimes I just really like sameness, and sometimes I need absolute chaos, and that's why I have so many hobbies. Is this a conclusion or a therapy session? Roll the dice, let's find out. Anyways, I think that's all I have for conclusion. I need to go edit this video so that it can actually be posted. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and while you're down there, also be sure to subscribe because I post new videos every Wednesday for whatever Wednesday. Also, let me know in the comments, like, do you want to see more crochet stuff? Because I'm probably going to be doing crochet things regardless. Whether I record it or not, it's going to be happening. But do you want me to record it? Basically is the question that I'm asking. But I am not good with the words, which is ironic because my whole like college education revolves around the words, so that's fun. I'm gonna go. I hope you have a great day. Kirby loves you, and I will see you next week. Okay, goodbye. Oh, look at your face. Are you jealous of me? Oh, look at the faces. Look at the puppy faces. Look at the puppy